Hi everyone, I'm Kat from the Littlestown Library of the Adams County Library System, and I wanted to give a book recommendation for you today. It is called Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. And I really enjoyed this book. It is a subset of fantasy that I'd never really read before. It is a little bit like an urban fantasy in that it takes place in a more modern setting with, alongside modern technology, but it's also a post-apocalyptic fantasy as well. It's after climate change has risen the sea levels to the point where a lot of the world is underwater, and the story itself is set inside an area that used to be a Navajo reservation, but is now referred to by its ancient name of Dinta, or the land of the Navajo. So the main character is a lady named Maggie, and she's a monster hunter. She has these certain powers that make her very good at finding and hunting down and killing monsters, but it also makes her an outcast among a lot of people. She doesn't have many friends. She doesn't trust people very easily. She has been through a great deal of trauma in her life, and so she's a very interesting and very sympathetic character, and at the same time sometimes she's a little scary too. She scares other people and she sometimes scares herself. And it's really interesting because I know very little about any Native American mythology or spirituality, and since this is a fantasy book, this is a fictionalized, don't take any of the characters or practices or anything as like this is actually how the Diné or the Navajo or any other Native American tribes, how they actually do things. This is a fantasy, it's fictionalized, but it has its roots in that tradition, in those characters like Coyote, and those kinds of, that a different style of magic compared to what you usually see in traditional fantasy, which is usually Western, European, and Celtic based. So, so if you're looking for a fantasy that is very different probably from anything you've read before, I highly recommend Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, and book 2 has also come out, and I think there's a book 3 that's supposed to be out sometime in the next year or two. So if that looks intriguing to you, go ahead and check this out.